Welcome to The Gateway, broadcasting live from the edge of the Mojave where the strange slips through the cracks. We are live on United Public Radio Network 107.7 FM New Orleans, and I'm your host, C.L. Thomas. Tonight we're going to talk about one crazy new paranormal film series. Yeah, you heard me, film series. I know what you're thinking. Wait, you're doing a paranormal show? Trust me, I checked twice to make sure I hadn't been possessed before booking this, but these ghosts come with barbecue and beer, a Southern combo favorite for me, for those who know me very well. Before we get into that, you've been listening to Sean Kelly with Into the Night. If you missed the show, you can tune again on Sunday night right here on United Public Radio. You know, I always give the weather for Las Vegas. For all of you listening out there, a lot of you always seem to message me about Las Vegas and are generally interested in life here. I normally travel for work, and last week I was working out of the Paris casino all week long. We had a show there, so it was pretty much around the clock. I got to say, it's kind of nice being a tourist in my hometown. I almost never get to do that. I'm always out somewhere else. So I had a nice week. I was home with my friends, got to see some shows, worked a lot in Vegas at one of the casinos for a show, and it was fun times. It is currently windy and cold here in the valley. The entire Mojave is under a strong wind advisory until sometime tomorrow. So batten down the hatches and turn up your radio dial and cozy up for the evening. I hope all's well with you. Let me see if there's anyone in here. Hi, Heidi. How are you? I think Heidi's the only one in here. So we are going to continue. My guests tonight are the guys from Booze, Brews and BBQ. Booze, Brews, and BBQ is a series that dives into America's most haunted cities, blending ghost beer and, of course, barbecue. The show is hosted by Barry Kerch, barbecue authority Ty Sherrell, and John Guarnieri from the Spear Talk podcast. The show blends a wonderful traditional paranormal history and regional barbecue traditions, which is quite different, and spirited conversations. So let me get them on here. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, hey.
There's so many things to talk about with you guys. You're just so different than anything I've seen out there. Let's start with you guys telling us a little bit about yourselves.
Sure. Ty, you go first.
Well, I'm Ty Sherrell, and I do a lot of backyard cooking, a lot of barbecue. And that's really my thing. And I liked in the production side of it. I've been in production for quite a while. So this was just a fun project to jump on board with these two fellas.
Your turn, John.
I'm John Guarnieri. I host a podcast called Spear Talk. I've published 2 poetry books this last year. And I'm a risk director for a private security firm, so I travel the world with bands doing security and stuff.
I'm the drummer for a band called Shinedown. Tour all over the world. John actually runs security for my band, and that's how we met, and that's how this whole thing kind of started. Aside from that, I've been involved with paranormal, I guess, if you want to call it research. I don't take anything too seriously. Beer and barbecue, being a Southern boy from Panama City, Florida, currently living in Jacksonville, Florida. Always been interested in tall tales, ghost stories, a good night with some barbecue and a beer. So that's kind of my background.
So you guys, I just love it because I lived in Nashville for a good 15, 16 years up until that big tornado that hit Nashville a few years ago. So I moved to Vegas, but Nashville, barbecue was like my favorite thing. Everybody was trying to out barbecue each other there. So how did you guys come up? How do you mix? It's almost like you remind me of the magazine Garden and Guns. I've done a lot of photography for them over the years, but yours is like the paranormal mix of, instead of guns, you have ghosts, beer, and barbecue.
We're like the harder version of like Yankee Candle magazine. We have a so I guess I'll go back to the, I'll hit that. during the pandemic, I was doing this live Instagram thing where I'd be drinking and just doing karaoke and stuff. And one night, super late in the morning, obviously on a Tuesday, and I was talking about like, man, it'd be cool to do a show with like ghost hunting, but like just getting like drunk and just drinking. So I bring this idea to Barry as we kind of come out of the pandemic. I'm like, dude, like a booze brews type thing where we can kind of combine both, like learn about a brewery, a brewmaster, and like kind of combine that with a ghost, maybe a haunted brewery type thing. And then we're kind of trying to play with like alliteration of words, like how to sell it, how to like even make it up. And then like Barry was just kind of like, well, how about brews and barbecue? Could kind of combine three things we love. And the paranormal for me is a lot of it's I love the history aspect as well, and like the stories that come with it. And then me and Barry trying to figure out the third person, and we're throwing out ideas out loud to like, well, how about Jacoby from Papa Roach, or this guy, or we need to find like a Guy Fieri type guy. And then circle a year later, Ty is backstage with his sons cooking barbecue for us. So a dust storm in Oklahoma, and super hot out, windy. And Barry goes over, talks to him. I go over, talk to him. And me and Barry both kind of beat up and like, dude, this guy's got the right vibe. Mind you, we only know him from the barbecue stuff, like social media, and like
at the time
stuff. Right. We had no idea about his background in production. In the soft core industry. No, I'm kidding. And so we talk, and then I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna go to Ty. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna be like, hey, this is an idea we have. I know you're gonna think we're crazy, but think it over. That Monday, we get an email from Ty like 9 a.m, like he usually texts, or much earlier. And then he's like, I'm in, let's do this. And so we kind of started building this idea out. Our first investigation actually was in Fort Worth, Texas, at Miss Molly's. And we just jumped in. And like by that time, we kind of realized that Ty had the background, the video, audio, like how to film stuff. And so we just kind of jumped in there. Like in 1 year, we filmed 9 episodes. Our 10th one we're filming now. But yeah, it's just been just a wild ride. It's like cool to like, we could go into a community, and obviously we kind of, the show is obviously centered on the paranormal aspect. We find a haunted location, or anything from Lizzie Borden's house to S.K. Pierce Mansion to a haunted aircraft carrier type thing. And then we can kind of build it out in the community where are the places that people go in these towns for barbecue or good food? Where do they go to the local mom and pop brewery type place, the winery, the place like that, the whiskey distillery, where we can kind of go in and just really bring it all together for the community? Because when people watch an episode, they're gonna be like, man, I'm gonna take my family to Fort Worth because they got this really haunted Airbnb, they got amazing barbecue, they got this really cool brewery called Roar Brewing. Why not take our family there? And so that's kind of what the gist is. Like, it's very much community based, but having like a blast doing it.
I really like that. I started that magazine, Eerie Expeditions magazine, last year. I did walk away from it for a little while, but it's coming back on March 15th. And I got the idea from Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
I met him in Nashville probably about 6-7 years back. But we were at a party, a house party. House parties are a thing in Nashville. And there's a couple of musicians that have them pretty much all the time. And so I went to one, and he happened to be there. You would never know the guy was famous, mind you. But what I really respect about him is he wasn't just covering the food. He would dig deep into people's culture and history and why they do the things they do. And I always found that really interesting. And with Eerie, I kind of wanted to create a magazine along the same lines, but with the paranormal in a sense.
That makes sense. There's not a lot of that out there. You know, it's a lot of the quick shock value and the bang and the flash. But, you know, like it says in your tagline, no scripts. That's kind of something we're trying to do, too, is we don't show up to a shoot and have a call list and here's your script and talk about this, this, and this. It's just the three of us idiots having a good time and trying to, again, show off the community and be a part of the community for them. You know, we all have our actual real jobs that we enjoy. This is a passion project for us to do something cool for people and also for ourselves.
I think one thing that we set out in the beginning, and this is like one of the things that was said, is we're not going to fake anything. And I think that's why this show has turned into probably one of the first paranormal travel series that's out there, going into these communities, energy, authenticity. We're not faking anything. It's not overproduced. We're not doing any of the stuff that anybody else is doing. So everything that's on camera is what happened. And even if it looks like it's scripted, it won't make the cut. And that,
you guys are really flipping the script on it. I love it.
I think some of the best parts for us, like obviously we've been able to capture some really cool stuff, and we work with your friends, Horror and Paranormal, and got some really cool stuff out with them right now. And we just filmed an episode with them. But like for us, we go into like a location, like the coolest parts of my stuff with meeting are the owners of these haunted locations, or the guy, the mother and wife, husband and wife that run the brewery, or the barbecue place that started from his father. And like we get to hang out with these people, and we've got to a couple locations where famous shows have gone through there, and I say famous just because they aired in 2001. We talked to them, but they're like, "Well, can we stand here?" Like, what are you talking about? Well, last time a TV crew came through here, we had a script. We had to stand on a soapbox. We had to leave the property, and like we're hanging with these people. That's the joy for the show for us. It's like we're investigating with the owners. We're hanging with the owners, talking about life and just their history. And so it's like, again, like we filmed this one segment at Bowling Green, this barbecue place. And we got John Fred from Blackstone Cherry as a guest. We got Dave Spinks with us. We're sitting down having this crazy barbecue. I think it was called the barbecue.
Smoky Pig.
Smoky Pig.
Yeah, Smoking Pig.
And we're filming this segment where we're doing like a wrap of the show and talk even with the barbecue about where we just investigated Octagon Hall. And the worker behind us starts changing the trash bag. And it's so loud.
Aggressively loud.
like all mad at it.
And all three of us are looking at each other like laughing. But then John and Dave are so talking with each other like they're not bothered by it. And so when stuff like that happens, the first thought would be, well, we can't use that. And what do? That's the first reel we put out for the episode. Mm-hmm. It's like
that's real life.
With the no scripts, it allows us to like seamlessly fit in with the community and not put them out where they feel awkward. Like I love the chaos of that. That's again for me the straight up joy.
Got it. The Fort Worth. I have to admit, Fort Worth kind of freaked me out when I went there. The big hounds that they parade, with those big horns. I don't even know what those things are called. They look scary.
Texas Longhorns.
And then they're barbecuing right next. I don't know. It was just weird. It was just like a weird mixture.
It's the best, actually.
It is really good barbecue, though. I did eat it.
It's the food is walking down the street, watching their cousins being cooked across the street.
Right.
It's the forty thing in Texas.
Our first day filming, we're walking down because I think we were allowed to drink out in the open. We did, and we're drinking out in the open, and all these the steers are going down the road, like the cowboys are leading them down for the parade, and we're just drinking, and we're just looking at each other. We're just like, man, this is so crazy what we're doing. It's like I don't know, it's just a blast.
The funny thing about our very first episode that we really never talk about was directly from the airport to the place. And that was the first time that me, John, and Barry actually came together to do this in person, and just right out of the gate.
Right. We literally had no scripts. Like we didn't even know what we were doing.
Zero.
And that was so much fun.
I didn't even know how to pronounce John's last name. I still don't.
I have a secret for you. So I did call Kimberly before the show and ask how to pronounce your name.
Yeah.
She probably got it wrong too. Everyone does.
Yeah. So, well, what are some of the places that, aside from Fort Worth, where have you guys been that really stands out as far as barbecue?
Barbecue.
Ooh, I mean, we've had some.
I think the place in Bowling Green, in Kentucky, it's called Monroe County Style Barbecue, was really interesting to me because they keep talking about their pork butt. The pork butt's the best, and you think shredded, Carolina pork or Southern style pork.
Shoulder.
It's not that. It's a shoulder cut that they slice super thin, and you have these thin, like ham steaks almost of the shoulder, and they cook it hot and fast over charcoal, and then dunk it in vinegar sauce and put like 3 slabs on your plate. That's their version, and it was delicious. But it's something I've never had anywhere else ever.
Now, do you guys cook yourselves?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll usually every episode. Obviously, some locations are so tough to get stuff, or we filmed in 2 snowstorms already, in Massachusetts and Memphis.
We got to start going to the West Coast, guys.
Yeah, like
We
the
do.
high altitude mountains. But like, so we work a lot with RecTech, and they bring a smoker there, drop it off for us. We do a lot of stuff at the houses, but sometimes, like we just had Andy Husbands in, who's a award-winning pitmaster in Massachusetts. We've had Matt Gork, Jim Thorpe, PA. It's again another great barbecue chef. And so we like to work with different people like that from the area, whether they're famous or not famous, but like people that have a really cool story and kind of learn from them. And like when I started the show, like I never owned a smoker. I could cook burgers and stay, like I no problem doing that. But like obviously with Ty's background and living on the road for 9.5 years with Barry and him cooking steaks and shishito peppers outside the bus after a show, it's like I start to learn from these guys, and like you get to do that. And then when I see them happy and so excited learning from like another barbecue guy in another place, another state, that brings me joy too, because it's like we're all actively learning.
Oh yeah.
I think you just hit it on the nose too. I was trying to ask that question. When you're sitting around cooking with people in the community of some of the places that you go to, you tend to learn a lot more than what you would in a formal interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are there
Absolutely.
things pertinent to the paranormal that you've learned from some of these places that you've been, from particular individuals that you've met along the way?
I've learned from John not to instigate.
I don't instigate. I only go after like ghost pimps. That's my thing. That's my MO.
Ghost
Ghost
pimps.
pimps? With the ghost pimp.
That would have been Memphis because we hunted a brothel. I think I've learned that we don't know anything. We really don't know anything, and that's the most exciting part of it. I mean, you might get some results, you might hear something, you might be able to debunk it, which is something I always try to do because I try to not believe anything that I see. We really have no idea, and that's what's so fascinating about it. And I think what really sets it off for me is knowing that we don't know anything, but still hearing the stories and the history of the place. Just, I guess it's more the history buff in me that enjoys the spooky stories of the history that happened in that location.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool too, because a lot of the odor, like the brewery odors or like the barbecue joints, like they know what we're doing. Obviously, we're talking about their process and stuff they do there. But then we start talking about the paranormal. A lot of these places have their own stories or history.
Everybody has a story.
Mhm.
And it kind of when you film the way we do, it kind of helps us flesh out like what the episode is going to be about in the sense of like storyline. And it's so cool to kind of like tie stuff back into other people you met in town or other owners or neighbors that want to like just like tell their story. Like, hey, I saw this do this. And it's like, okay, cool. Like this, like, again, it's like hearing the stories for me is like the best part.
Yep.
Well, a lot of times these places are located in older buildings and historical buildings. I don't know. If I was a ghost, I would hang out in a tavern. I don't know.
Man, if I was a ghost, I'd probably be at the newest hotel that was just built.
Yeah, because you're bougie.
Yeah, I'd be the bougiest ghost.
Yeah, like this
I'd
thing
be
has like a
Hilton.
this has
He'd
like
be running the bath in the suite, the king suite
100%.
upstairs.
right.
100%. I would scare him out of the suite just so I could stay there.
God.
Really? Well, has anything that you guys, let me ask you this. What kind of evidence have you gotten? I don't want to call it evidence. Let's call it experiences. I'm tired of hearing the word evidence from people. What kind of experiences have you had with the paranormal?
I actually like it being said that way.
Yeah, it makes sense. Both Ty and I have been scratched. Okay, so the weird thing about the season when it comes out is I haven't experienced this yet. A couple of camera guys I have, and Ty and Barry have, but this the idea of like a mimic or like something that kind of people talk about stuff being latched onto you if you cleanse the house, like make sure you cleanse yourself and clean yourself. Like I'm just like whatever.
Gotta
Like,
get clean.
that when I hear that stuff, I'm kind of like, man, like I'll take a shower. Like what are we talking about here? And but they've dealt with mimic stuff and like stuff like that where we're calling each other, trying to help each other explain what happened, like a voice called out or your name called out, or you think your wife's talking to you and she's not even home. It's stuff like that where that's where for me it seems bigger than it is. Like, I'm not gonna lie, being scratched is like super like bizarre and weird. And I can't even tell you what it felt like. It was so quick. And that I think that's episode 4. And Ty got scratched in Memphis, episode 2. But like, there's also been stuff too with like the spirit box or the direct hits on the REM pod or like stuff like that where you're kind of like, and like Barry's notorious for like, hey, this is a wind, this is a storm front coming through the floorboards. It's an old house.
Nino.
Right. He's just like the cold front coming through. And
I'm the science guy.
Right. And so we're trying to refute that stuff, but when a spirit box in an Airbnb can start telling you what your kids' names are or your real name and then say stuff where it's just like, man, like you want to be able to explain it, but you can't. And I think for us, that type of evidence for me is like, so I don't know, it's just interesting because you try like, at least one thing we like to do is like when something happens, like we'll capture it, we'll do it, but then you'll kind of look back at it and then in real time, something like Barry or Ty or me will be like, well, hold on a second. I was upstairs. I was walking around, or this window had a draft, or the furnace kicked on at this time every time. So it kind of, but like that stuff brings the joy too, because it allows us to be serious, have fun what we're doing, but also take this seriously, where we're not just going to capture a shadow moving or something moving just for the sake of putting out. It's because I like the idea that we can process in real time and call the other two people idiots for thinking that was a ghost. Like that's hilarious for me.
The last reel that was posted tonight was probably, well, not just because it happened to me. I wish it would have happened to somebody else, but that was the first time that we caught, I don't know if it's the first time we caught something, but this was the first time that something happened on the security camera. And we have footage of me telling everyone what's happening on the security camera. Then we come back up there and try to debunk what happened on the security camera. And there were so many different things that was happening like all at one time. And I mean, from the video side of it, I really enjoyed cutting that together just because we had so many, it was like Big Brother. We had cameras everywhere, but it really played out. And I think that was the first time we've had a poltergeist experience.
And we had 3 in that one house.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from John getting tossed into me, but that wasn't on camera, unfortunately, in the barn.
You heard it. We could hear it.
I heard it. I felt it.
You felt
John
it.
Literally got pushed into me, and John's much taller than I am. Both of the guys are. I'm
better looking too. Yep.
Well, that's a guarantee. I'm not a good looking man. But he got pushed it straight into me by something unseen. I thought he was joking around at first, but we made a rule when we first started filming this, before we even did Miss Molly's. Hey, no jokes played on each other. We're not doing that. We're not going to play those jokes, because then you're always on edge and you're thinking, was that real or was that a joke? We're not doing that. And he full body checked me, and that's the same time period he got scratched shortly thereafter. So who knows? Who knows? There's been moments.
Yep.
Has anything ever followed you guys home or anything?
For Ty and I, yes. Yeah, and that goes back to the mimic thing that John was talking about. Don't know what it is that followed us home, but at least for my experience, and this happened around the same time for Ty, though it was different at his house than mine. I came home, house is normal. I don't live in a haunted home. I live in a 80s built home, second owner, and it's a 2-story. I'm downstairs, my wife and daughter are upstairs, and I clearly hear my wife say, "Papa," like calling down to me. I'm in the kitchen because I'm cooking like I always do. I love to cook. And so I walk around the corner and I scream up, "Yeah, what?" She goes, "What?" And that's when we started having these mimic moments of people or something talking in our family's voices, but they didn't say anything. And my wife and kid don't want any part of this stuff, so it's not like they're going to play a joke on me, or they wouldn't even have thought of that, to be honest. So, and then Ty had a very similar occurrence at his home.
Yeah. Well, 2 things. My wife thought I was calling her. She was in the bedroom closet, and I was nowhere near that side of the house, and she thought I was calling her. The second thing was Braden was upstairs taking a shower, and I was in bed, but he heard someone knocking on the door, and he was like, yeah. And so much so that he got out of the shower to open the door because it kept knocking on the door, and he opens the door. There's no one. We're asleep. So
your house is relatively new construction too, right? I mean,
it's 10 years
suburbia.
old. Yeah. So it's newer, but yeah, didn't like that at all.
How'd you get rid of it? Or did it just go away?
Yeah, I think I got it drunk and just like sent it on its way.
I said some prayers and that was it.
Has anything that you guys experienced so far with traveling and some of the shows that you guys film, has any one experience changed the way you view life and the afterlife on a personal level?
I think for me, it's more of a the people that want to go to ghost hunting, they think it's cool to talk to a guy that served with Abraham Lincoln at Gettysburg, and like they can talk to this. And I think there's a for me, it's like respect of history, but also be respectful of the people that did pass away, whether it's a tragedy or whether they were in a prison, they were electrocuted because they killed 10 people. Like there's still a dignity that has to be done in this, where sure, it can be fun. And like you're asking this spirit what its name is 30 times. And if it slaps you, I'm okay with it. But like for me, and my father passed away earlier this September, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, thank you. And like being there, like when you hold someone's hand that's dying and they take their last breath, like that's an image for me, like a sound, like everything about that, the sound, the quiet, like it made me not take a step back, but again, kind of what we talked about off the record before we went live, where it's like, just be so grateful to be present and able to do this, and also be respectful to people that lost loved ones. And again, too, like not to be like go after like the snake oil salesman or these people that say they can summon spirits, but there's someone that's on earth now that's suffering that didn't get the closure they had. I was grateful to have it, and so I can say this, but the people that never got the closure, they could be trying to use this as a means to get that one last talk in, or that one last hello, or that one last thing, where it's like, for us, it's all about respect, unless it's a pimp. But like it's when you experience something like that, you have to be very respectful. And like it is kind of weird when you go to like a haunted house, or you go through a cemetery, whether it's a Union soldier cemetery, a slave cemetery, just an unmarked grave cemetery. Like there's like a sense of like you have to respect that. And like for us, like again, we try to like, again, we have fun, we crack jokes, but at the end of the day, it's like the answers we're looking for might not necessarily be like, I don't even know how to say it. Like we're not there to like, we're there to try. I guess I hate the word capture, but like you're there trying, for us, it's like learn about the gear and try to correlate the gear and the knowledge we have of that technological side of it with like the history, and trying to see if there's a way to like figure something out, like finish telling a story. Like we've done a couple places where there's been unsolved murders, or they're not sure who killed who, and like we're trying to figure that stuff out. But again, like we have to be respectful about that stuff. And I know Barry, Ty would agree the same way, because we all have had stuff in our lives where people have passed away, or people that get like you just got to be really respectful about this and make sure you do it the right way.
Yep.
That's a really good point. I think a lot of times too, I always see investigators kind of ask the wrong questions. I feel like
100%.
They'll go in.
We've done it a lot.
Yeah,
I love it. How many fingers?
What's my name?
What's my name? I always hate. Can you say my name? You know, when you see the TV shows, they always, for some reason, they always want them to say their name. Why are we asking those questions? Should we be asking, what's it like on the other side? What do you see? What are you experiencing? You know, things like that. We never ask those questions.
What would you ask them if you could see them? If they were standing in front of you and you could physically see them, what would you say? What's your name?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess when you meet someone in real life, you say, "How are you?" That's usually the first question.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with a spirit, though, and you kind of have an idea of their background, with oftentimes we do, sometimes we don't, but why aren't we asking them, "How are you? Where are you?" You know, those kinds of questions. I guess.
You also kind of wonder, like, when people like, oh, I hate when people out there, oh, it's a demonic entity. Well, hold on a second. Maybe this thing is sick and tired of counting to 2 or dancing for you or trying to, like, that stuff too, where it's like, you can't come in hot to these things. Like, that's why when we do this stuff, before we even do any investigation, we're doing a house tour, learn about the history of the location and the people who have owned the house. Like, we want to understand where these people, these caretakers and their stories for this house. So it's like, we're not like, it'd be so easy to come in there with a boombox, screaming, blasting music, and trying to agitate. Like, I'd be pissed off as a living soul. Mm-hmm. Imagine trying to be eternally resting, and you're just like, God bless.
It's very true. So tell me about kind of your approach, I guess, in your shows.
We like to wear all tactical gear. It makes us feel like we're really going into the investigation. No, I'm just kidding.
I think we go in pretty much pure chaos.
Yeah.
It's pure chaos with our personalities. We go in, you know, I guess there's 2 schools of thought, and I've actually asked the guys that maybe we should do this one of these times, but it's really hard when we're trying to, you know, travel to locations separately, and it's time and everything else. But it'd be a lot of fun to maybe not know the history of the place and go in blind and then get the history tour and get told what's going on, see if you can correlate any of the information that you may or may not get. But a lot of times the first thing we do is get the history, and then we talk about it, and then we explore the house and just kind of feel it out and get excited and giddy, like, oh my God, I can't believe we're here. And then you start filming because you want to get as much as you can in a short period of time. You're paying your film guys. You only have a few days, whatever it is, or the location only allows you to be there for so long. So I think it is absolutely uncontrolled chaos for the 3 of us, which makes it, I think, fun. Because there is no script, because we didn't go in and go, okay, we have to hit all these points like it would be on a Hollywood movie set. Like, here's your call sheet. Here's what we're doing. It's 9 a.m. Here's what you do. And it's really hard for me because I like call sheets, and these guys know this, that I like direction, and I like to know what's going on. Yeah. I'm the grandpa. It's fine. But we don't do that. And I think that's where our personalities come out the best, because we're just having a good time, as well as trying to be as respectful as possible until John says some off-color thing, and then it just gets crazy.
Yeah.
100%. An off-colored thing, huh?
What's that? What do you mean by that?
You'll call out some ghosts, or you'll start getting frustrated because nothing's happening. You'll start yelling at the house for no reason.
Yeah, just screaming.
Yeah, I was usually screaming a song lyric,
shirtless.
To Barry's point, though, we filmed episode, I think 5 in Montgomery. We're at this consignment shop, and we're doing some spirit box stuff and like trying to whatever. We could start getting some names, and I don't know if it was Barry or Ty, but like the owner was doing some business downstairs in his little office, and in real time, like we were able to like say some of these names or whatever, and like kind of piece together the story as we're hearing names with him and like verifying names and stuff like that. So it was, again, it's cool to actually have like to work with like really cool like owners of these places, like that understand that we're not there just for the clicks. We're there to like actually appreciate them, and also try and like learn about them and learn about their history. And like some of these places, we go to a investigation and we don't. It's one of those things like we're so nice and like we never kick people out. Like obviously when we have to film stuff, we have to be quiet on set type stuff. But like you'll have neighbors knocking on doors because they know we're in town, and like we'll spend 30 minutes out there talking to them. It just like learning, like, so it's like we're so nice in that way, where I think it catches a lot of these places off guard because they're so used to the fingerless gloves and the attack drones that film through camouflage. And so it's like, again, like it's just cool. Like there's so many ways to go in and do this stuff, and the fact that we're learning on the fly and just kind of like approaching it that way, like I actually enjoy that.
Yeah.
So for your show, where's your show? Is it on YouTube? Where's your show aired?
So we are filming season 1 now. Episode 10 films middle of March, and then we've had discussions with certain, I guess you call them networks or whatever
outlets. Whatever.
Our thing is we're not going to give up 100% creative control. We're going to maintain that, and if that means us putting it out on like a Amazon Prime or Netflix or Hulu ourselves, we're going to do that. Just because I don't want to get in the position, I don't know if I'm speaking for Ty or Barry, where we get told, hey, you can't act this way, you can't say this, you have to film here, you can't do that. Like the fact we have no scripts means we have no rules. We're the rule makers for our own thing. And like we're busy capturing all the first season. Then we actively start filming season 2 this year. And then this year, this first season will drop. And it's going to be fun just when people see, because you can only tease so much without giving away a lot. And it's been fun kind of seeing the community that follow us and like support us and like kind of see us. There are a lot of these people that we'd film these locations. We put off these events, whether it's taking over trolley rides or boat rides or investigating at the Lizzie Borden house with a bunch of people and having murder and mystery dinners. And we put on these cool events to kind of help us like gauge the community, but like it also allows us to like understand our audience, who ultimately people you want to curate something for your audience to enjoy and feel like they're part of it, and like feel like if you're gonna spend an hour a week watching something, we want to make sure their hour when they put their kids to bed or they're working 2 jobs or whatever, they got to do all the stuff that we give them the quality to actually enjoy that. And again, we were also lucky because we are very much a creatively hostile type dynamic. And I mean that in the sense of like Ty and I are texting at 4 a.m. ideas where we know Barry's going to punch us both in the mouth.
Yeah.
They text like teenage girls 24/7. I'll wake up to a phone of just 90 texts, and I'm trying to read the backlog of this novel they've written about ideas. And then by the time I get to 80 of the texts, they've completely given up on that idea and have moved on to something else. So I just wasted an hour of reading.
Well, that's because we sent those 2 weeks prior, Barry.
Yeah, well, I don't like social media. I hate it.
But like we do all that stuff, and we like creatively we get in a room and we create this energy, and it allows us to be ourselves. And we're not going to cater to a specific audience. We want people, whether you're a beer enthusiast, whiskey, barbecue, a paranormal person, where you feel like you belong here. Old, young, black, white, gay, straight. I don't even care if you crash land from a ancient civilization and you want to join the party. Like we're here for you, and that allows us to like organically like create our community that we accept everyone and just have a really great time doing it.
That's one of the things that I really like about this is meeting everybody that come to these events, that travel halfway across the nation to go. They're just as chaotic as we are. They're just as fun as we are. And they want to have as much fun as we're having, they're having. And that's awesome.
So I saw that you guys just posted the St. Augustine event. Am I seeing that correctly?
Yes.
Was it St. Augustine?
Yeah. I
What can people, I want to go to that. So tell me, what can someone expect that has never been to your events before?
Well, this has kind of been St. Augustine in general is one of my favorite cities. I got married in St. Augustine. I live 30 minutes north of St. Augustine. It's the oldest city in the country. It's a Spanish founded city. And it's just got a lot of great history there, and I've been going there for many, many years. So this was on my bucket list. Hey, guys, we have to do this in season 1. And it everything else fell into place for other locations, and we were finally getting to film it. That being said, we like to have these events along with us filming outside. Like we haven't disclosed the barbecue location. We haven't disclosed any of the breweries or wherever we're going to go do that type of stuff, or even the haunted places that we're going to. But we like to have events as well for the community and to do these things. So we're doing 2 trolley tours, 2 haunted boat rides where it's one of those things. They tell you the history. You're on the boat. I think the boat has a bar, if I'm correct. So we can drink and get a little wild with everyone and make it fun.
Like so much fun.
And then we're going to try to break a Guinness World Record at one of the local bars on is that Friday or Saturday, John?
That's Friday night. At midnight.
Friday night, midnight. We're going to try to have 300 or more people split the G on a Guinness. And just, you create these things, and not only gets people to come to that city, so that's good for the city themselves, but it's also a lot of fun for us, to do this. And then those people remember the show, they remember what we're doing, and then they come to the next events. They kind of follow us around. They know what cities we've been in. And then when they watch that episode, once it's finally released, they went, oh, I was there. I got to meet the guys. We had a great time. John got unhinged and shirtless again. Ty was sitting in the corner, and Barry was the mayor behind the bar. So that's just kind of how it goes.
For the record, a lot of these events we take over breweries. I've poured the most amount of beer anyone here. I did them all in Massachusetts for 2 hours straight.
No, you did not. I was back there with you.
Oh, in my way. So,
I was a man of the people, glad handing everybody and having a good time with the conversations.
Barry wasn't back there at one time.
I was doing one for you,
it was
one for me.
Bar.
But so we do this stuff. And it's like the cool thing about the events, those aspects of those events will actually be on the episode too. So people that come to the stuff are going to be on the TV with us, and it's just a way to get to know your people, and whether they travel from there or locals. And I wake up some mornings and laugh about inside jokes I had with someone I met in Jim Thorpe or Fort Worth or Memphis, where I'm just like, oh God, that was such a funny moment. And you go on our social media. The one thing I'm a huge stickler on is I kind of talked about with if you give an hour to someone, make sure they get their worth. I spend, when I'm home and not obviously working because it gets tougher, I probably spend 7-8 hours a day on social media, making sure anyone that likes or responds or comments, good or bad, I respond and interact with them, because I think it's
good or bad. And the bad ones just get me fired up.
Wait, even the ones that are on there just being total mean.
Yeah, no.
They always cry. I always just cry.
Well, the joy that brings Ty and I is that we are meaner than them. And they say it just for kind of be ragey or just say something stupid. Where once I start going down that path, I'm already in your soul. I've already hunted your soul.
Right.
And
we're already investigating their ghost.
But
they will live in their head for the rest of their lives. Yeah. I stay out of it.
Right. We actually put their head in this little glass case with a bunch of healing potions on it. Yeah. And so I will spend so much time, because if you take 5 seconds to leave a comment, I need to give you equal love back. And so that's how for us, it's again, it's very genuine. These aren't automated type shit. I will literally spend in there and type. And so I think there's a great joy in that, because again, we're trying to build this thing, and we'll never be too big for that. You go to some of these other paranormal shows, and obviously I could talk the beer shows and the barbecue stuff, but you go to some of the paranormal shows, they reach a plateau, or they reach a safety zone where they don't want to push the discomfort, or they think they have their audience that's getting older, they're not skewing. All our events are all ages. And so I never want to get so big where I can't treat these people like human beings. I hate going on to a famous person show, looking at the first couple of comments, and these people are sharing their stories about, hey, when my grandfather died, they really cool stories, or I got the small business, you got to try our beer. They deserve the respect to get that response back from us. And it's been fun. I'm not really a people person. This is going to sound terrible. When I'm working and stuff, I get hyper focused on stuff, but when I'm allowed to be myself on the show in a weird way where it doesn't feel like I have to work, because what we do is fun. This isn't work. Yeah. It takes work to do this, but you know what I'm saying? And it allows me to kind of be just be myself. I just be the weird, eccentric, crazy person that everyone, obviously I'm very professional when I have to be, but I just like being in the community. That's all this show is about. It gets me so fired up, like I am right now.
Well, I got to ask you guys about the beer real quick. Kind of steer the conversation just a little bit. I'm a huge beer girl. I love local breweries and stuff like that. Was my thing in Nashville. I had a little happy hour group. A lot of artists and stuff would join us. We had 100 people that would show up and just overtake some of the breweries that we would go to. We would pick a different spot every Friday. They didn't know we were coming, and we would just go. Awesome. We'd send an email out, and everybody would meet up there every Friday. Nice. What are some of the beer places that you've been, and what are your favorites?
Ooh.
There's been a lot of good ones. For me, I think when it comes to the bar or brewery owner, White Squirrel was probably one of my favorites because he was just such a character. This guy was he's the mayor of his little town right there. He's got a golf cart. He just drives around. Maybe not hammered. It's an old ambulance golf cart. He'll just drive to the shop cart. Hey guys, jump on. We're going over here. And he drives it through the place. He's handing beers out to people. That White Squirrel Brewery was probably one of my favorites, I think. And the beer was really good. I don't think we've had a place with bad beer. Thank God.
No, they've all been great. Like I'm terrible with names too. I can picture their faces, but like Tim Bedyo, Afterglow, Tim Bedyo and Harry Guys, Cherie, or who's Frankenbolts? Shay, Frank there, Chuck.
It's kind of weird. Breweries have different vibes. Like some of them are not that they're corporate, but they're very, and because you go to a lot of them, they're very clean. It's almost like this is a wine tasting. This is our brewery. And then you have the other brewery that, hey, this is a party vibe. Check out my new weird beer that I made. Hope you enjoy it. Don't care if you don't. And each brewery has their little thing. Some are a little more, I guess, just straight laced, and some are a little more wild. But they all make great products. Josh from Afterglow Brewery, they treat us like family.
So the cool thing, I'll just say it. I don't know if they're not really hiding it. I don't think. Yeah, maybe they are. Well, I'm just gonna say it. Like we have a beer.
Should we talk about this?
That we're actually coming. Josh isn't watching this. We have a beer that's coming with Afterglow in Norfolk, Virginia. That's gonna have our imagery on it and our own beer profile. It's actually brewed in like a beer, like brewed in like this wooden cask type thing that looks like a snare drum head. And so we actually have a beer that's coming out. It's gonna be to market, and like you can order it and all this stuff. And when we do like the beer takeovers, these breweries, like we get to pick a beer or like help create a flavor one. The Frankenbolts one had like this kind of like this jalapeno stout type thing. And we kind of gravitate towards like the Pilsner type stuff. So it's super light and easy for men, women, children to drink. And so like when you get to do cool, weird stuff with like Frankenbolts, like a malty beer with some heat to it or like some other flavor profiles, like it's cool because again, you're learning all about their processes, and not one single process is the same. Like maybe the only similarity is the fact that they all use barley or like hops or like whatever it is. So it's like
water.
They're like all their stuff is so like different. And you drink the Pilsner, and like every Pilsner we've had at these 9 breweries, they all taste different, but it still tastes like a Pilsner. So it's so cool to like see these people so passionate. And anyone that's been in like the hospitality business knows how tough it is to run a restaurant, a barbecue joint, a brewery, and again to like get to work with them and understand them and like become lifelong friends with all these owners. Like it's a true joy.
Well, you guys, where can the audience find you?
Facebook,
Craigslist.
Instagram, Craigslist, Tinder, OnlyFans.
Swipe right for a good hunt.
All your typical socials, YouTube, and then depending on when Ty has to do all the workload and edit all this stuff, is when the actual series will be released, and that'll be announced on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and all those places. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show. I really loved having you guys on. This hour just went so fast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
So sorry, you guys.
It's all good.
You've been listening to the Gateway Podcast, broadcast live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM, New Orleans. I'm going to be on, I think, with Sean Kelly on Sunday. I'm not sure yet, so stay tuned for that. And news for you guys, Eerie Expeditions magazine will come out on March 15th. If you sign up right now at eerieexpeditionsmagazine.com, you can actually get a subscription for free. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys, and I'll see you on down the road.